Just thinking about Ben, obviously you've had a lot of exposure. You've done a lot of work with the Pacific Island teams, and obviously that's been very, very successful. But they play rugby a unique way, and it's a way that it just gets people on side. Pacific Islanders have a skill set and an ability to do something that a lot of Irish people can't do, and I think that brings neutrals on side. So it's exciting to see them part of that Super Rugby competition next year. What do they have to do? How do they tap into? I actually don't think it'll be that difficult, Ben. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that. How do they tap into something about what's unique to them, or what themes would be suitable for them?
Yeah, I think you just got to. I think most people who are authentic and they stay true to themselves. I think when we pretend to be, in any walk of life, you know this better than I do. I think, having been a successful player, but if you try and be something that you're not, or play a way that you can't, then you're not being true to yourself. You probably won't enjoy it, but you also won't become the best version of yourself. And for you to be the best version of yourself, there's no point, trying to do perform outside your skill set. And I think very much they have to just be themselves. I don't think if they get carried away with, they have to have some practicality, but if they get caught up, and I don't think they will, but if they get caught up in, exit strategy and all this type of stuff, that's not, if it's on, it's on, whether it's, whether they're on their own try line, or, if it's 5-on-3 and they're in their own 22, which now with the 50-22 rule, that could be this. That's often the case, especially off set piece, with the wings and the back three almost playing like three fullbacks. Then if it's on, have a go. So I think they just got to be themselves, and they know that better than I do. But the culture's unique. It's amazing. So I'm excited about how they'll get on.
It's mad how as soon as you mentioned exit strategies, everybody just rolls their eyes and just goes, "Oh, here we go." Here's another box kick.
Well, it's just the jargon as well, isn't it?
It is. It's exactly. I don't know how, because I've co-commentating a lot of games, and I talk about exit strategies a lot because I like that structure. I think there's something quite appealing about having that structure and finding a way to, you're actually breaking a team down, not necessarily in exit strategies, but in a game plan, a phase play, a five phase strike play that you're playing a long game, you're catching someone out, you're actually beating the defense on the Tuesday or the Monday early in the week. You're putting these things in place, and that must be so satisfying for coaches to be able to do that. And then the alternative is to say, right, lads, we are all very talented. Let's go out. Let's not overthink this. Let's just perform. I think, Pacific Island teams, like they no doubt they'll have the latter easily, but there has to be a bit of boring. You have to be a little bit boring, be pragmatic if you're going to be successful in this game, Ben.
The practicality of it. Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because a bit of knowledge, if you're aware of all that backstory and the preparation that's gone into breaking down the defence, I guess it's more interesting. It's a bit like when I first started reading about the Tour de France, and you understand the peloton a bit more, and you understand how these domestiques are working and all the different roles, and then suddenly you appreciate it a lot more, don't you? And it's a bit like that with that rugby. But I think from a general point of view, I think rugby's got to be very careful, because without everybody understanding all of the stuff that goes into it, if we're not careful, we'll lose a lot of the audience, because it does become quite attritional, but without everybody understanding. There's this sort of chess game going on, but with these amazing athletes, and the pragmatic element will definitely come into it with the Super Rugby teams. Obviously, they've got some, the coaches, it will depend on that coaching structure.